Ready for your fast pass to the perfect vacation? This is Talk Travel to Me. Join host Christy Willett and the Mickey Guru team for one big travel question every episode. Solo insights or expert roundtables, all with a sprinkle of magic and the ultimate insider edge. Fasten your seatbelt. It's time to talk travel.
Hey traveler, today we're discussing a question we get asked a lot as travel advisors who specialize in booking Disney vacations. My guest today is Sammie Fay. Okay, Sammie, are you ready for the question of the episode?
Oh boy, let's hope.
Is the Disney dining plan worth it in 2026?
Such a loaded question, Christy. Come on.
I know it is, and but we get asked all the time, like, because we'll offer it to people, and like sometimes they're like absolutely no, but then more often than not, they're kind of like, well, is it worth it?
Or you have some that are like, I want it. I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You're going to spend more money. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And then you have to do the Disney math.
All right, so one of the reasons we're doing this episode now is that not only are we helping our clients do this, we're taking some trips. You and I and Eric and our newest agent, Jess, are going to be traveling to Walt Disney World on the, what are we calling that? I forget what we call the trip. Get me out of here?
Yeah, the get me out of here. Time to get my cast signed by the characters. We just need to leave New England. It sucks here.
Yeah. So we booked a trip, 15, 16 days out that includes Walt Disney World for a day, then a Disney cruise for 4 nights, and then we're coming back and doing Walt Disney World for 4 more nights. Yeah. So we have thought and kicked the idea around of doing the dining plan for our first night when it would be you and I and Eric staying at Saratoga Springs. God help me. But that's where
It's going to be okay. Just one night.
Yeah. Which coincidentally is what I've done before there. One night before a cruise is all I've ever done. So now I'm going to do it again just because, for the gram, I guess.
Maybe I'll tell guest services you hate their resort and maybe they'll do something nice for you and change your mind.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
No, I can totally imagine because I can already see that I'm going to do that now that it just flew out of my mouth.
So we're thinking about the Disney dining plan for that trip. And then you're going with your family at least once this year?
We're going in August for sure, and then either the Halloween party or the Christmas party.
And so one of the big things in 2026 that makes it really worth it is if you have kids age 3 to 9 and the adults buy it, the kids get the dining plan for free.
It's such a great deal, except for the fact that Disney thinks that kids are no longer kids at 10 years old, which I strongly disagree, but that's the point.
Yeah, that's a good point. They do it based on age, not actual status. So it's 3 to 9-year-olds are kid prices or less prices, and then 10 and up are the higher price. Kidults or whatever. Which this is a good opportunity to kind of talk about that a little bit. Your older daughter is 11?
He's gonna be 13 in November, and I'm not well.
Yeah, that's a rough one for moms. When you look at what she eats at Disney World, does she eat more like a kid-sized portion or does she eat more like an adult-sized portion?
Me, Adriana, who's my oldest, and Olivia all eat like birds at Disney because there's so much moving around. My husband is the only one that eats like an adult when we were at Disney.
We're interesting because it depends on the weather. So like when we go in the summer, a dining plan is never worth it for us in the summer because I don't want to eat a heavy meal and then go run around the parks. And
it's too hot.
It is. So we never, ever get it in the summer. But we'll eat a fair amount of food. Eric, I think has a hollow leg. So like he can just keep eating and keep eating. I eat much less, but I feel like I'm not bothered by it if I choose to do like a character meal that's more expensive because the whole experience, it's not just the food.
Right.
But I definitely think about it more than I used to when it comes to that.
For the dining plan, like we don't even necessarily base it on what time of year we're going. We base it off of what's the priority for this trip. So like we'll literally sit down with the kids and be like, doing a quick trip? Like, are we going just for the rides and for maybe if there's a new show or whatever is happening? Or are we like, do we want to see characters? If they say they want to see characters, hands down, I'm just going to buy the dining plan to save my soul
Yeah.
because you save so much money. I think the last time that we did it was last, oh geez, August. We did the Disney dining plan and I did the math and we ended up saving over $400 because we did so many characters. It was like each day we did a character meal. So like if you go into it that way and you're doing only like one table service dining credit meals, not like Cinderella's table when it's two, we saved stupid money.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I think it's one of those scenarios where I started looking at it for a client recently. One of the services that we provide clients is that if they want to do the dining plan, but they're not sure, like we'll go through and do the math and look at what are you likely to eat, and see if it makes it worth it. I have a client right now that I did that for, and they are going to save big money because of what they're looking to do, right? Like they're they're going to spend a significant amount. They have reservations for Ale and Compass and for dinner.
Oh, okay.
So like they're going to spend a lot of money there, I think. And I asked them cuz one of the things that always catches people is like it depends on what you want to order too at these restaurants, right? Like character meals are a no-brainer like you said, but this one I was like, are you a family that likes appetizers? Do you prefer dessert? Because the table service credits come with a drink, an entree, and a dessert. You don't have the option of getting an appetizer. Um,
Right.
and this family was like, we are big dessert people. So when we did it, I did all the math and then I showed them on a spreadsheet. First of all, she was like, what the hell? She was like, I can't believe you just did that. And I said, well, it helps. I knew what we were looking at. I didn't do it before the reservations were made because that's silly, but now I know what we're doing. Um, but even with Space 220 on her list, which is not on a dining plan, they're still going to save somewhere between $150 and $250.
That's awesome. But again, like that 120, I'm sure you're going to spend somewhere else in the park. So my thing is like, I'm going to save it for you now so you can go, please don't buy a bubble wand, buy anything else, but like go buy a sweatshirt, go buy whatever else you need. My big thing is not counting for the tip because a lot of people forget that part because it's not included. So I always do the math on what the tip should be. I'm a service industry person, so for me this is like a like left eye twitching moment because I'm like, you got to tip 20%. That's the standard.
Yeah.
So I equate that in. I'm like, this is going to be out of pocket. This is not included in your dining plan. And a lot of people are really shocked by that because it's not advertised that way, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really thought about.
Mm-hmm. And years ago, when they, like, on our honeymoon, which is 26 and a half years ago now, the dining plan included 3 meals a day, whether you wanted quick service or table service. It included appetizer, entree, dessert, drink, not alcohol, but a non-alcoholic beverage. It included gratuity and tax. And I remember the year that changed, I felt so bad for the servers because they were now in a position to point out every time they put your bill down that your dining credits covered all of this, but gratuity's not. And I knew that, but I heard so many other guests like complaining and whining about that, which I understand if you didn't know. Like it would be 20% every time you go to eat adds up.
Especially character dining.
Yeah, yeah. But also, like, these servers have been busting their behinds for you because Disney servers are among the best I've ever encountered. So, like, I felt so bad. But even now, I've heard when you pay attention to, like, the TikToks from some of the servers, and they're like, hi, just remember, please, it's not included.
I like feel bad because again, in those situations, too, the whole tip doesn't go to the server. That's part of why the character dining is so expensive. Like that gets divvied out among people. It's not always just theirs. And I think that's where people have a hard time like understanding like, well, why my bill is $300. It was character dining, like, but my server didn't do $60 worth of work. Well, $60 isn't just theirs.
Right. Do you?
There's tip share.
So I know in restaurants, I've never worked food service. But in restaurants, you normally tip, like, you tip your server, but then they have to tip out the bartender and, like, the bussers and stuff like that, right?
It depends on the state that you're in, and it depends on the company rule. So, like, each, depending on the state and the company, kind of dictates everything. So, when I was a server, I would tip out the bartender, I would tip out the bus boys, I would tip out the food runner, and I would tip out the stand.
Oh, okay. So it's a lot.
So, and it was always a percentage of my sales. So, like, it didn't make sense because at the time the company I worked at, we would tip like 5% of our food sales to the bartender. I'm like, make that make sense. You didn't make my food, you made my drinks.
Right.
So even if I had no bar sales, I was still supposed to tip out the bartenders. I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb.
Yeah. So at Disney with the character meals, do those tips also go to the characters? Like, does Winnie the Pooh have a little, like, honey pot where he sticks his money into it?
I'm under the impression that yes.
I feel like that's something I want to discover on our next trip. Figure out how we can figure that out. Because I know Winnie the Pooh
Pay
doesn't
less.
need, right? He doesn't need money. Winnie the Pooh doesn't. But his friends do.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Okay. So, yeah,
How does he buy his honey?
right? I could go right down the rabbit hole and make a viral clip right now. But okay, so tipping is definitely something you have to consider if you're doing the Disney dining plan. If you go with a quick service dining plan, you don't. So maybe we should stop for a moment and just explain the differences between the two, because Disney does have in 2026 two different options. One is the quick service dining plan, and with that one you get 2 quick service meals, which is an entree and a drink for each quick service credit. And then you also get a snack, which you can use for a non-alcoholic beverage, or you can actually get something food related. And then you also get that resort refillable mug for the quick service plan.
I love that mug. That mug's amazing.
Well, it's a souvenir too, like,
But it saves my soul all of the time. I go get a
yeah.
hot coffee every night before I go back to the room. I put it in the fridge because I don't drink hot coffee. That's silly. So then I wake up and I have an iced coffee and I don't even have to leave the room yet. So I'm pleasant as pie first thing in the morning.
So let's talk about the other Disney dining plan, which is just called the Disney dining plan, which is confusing to everybody. And that one has 1 quick service credit, 1 table service credit, 1 snack credit, and the refillable mug. And those are all per person per night. And the table service includes your entree and a dessert, and then a beverage. You can get alcohol if it's served at that restaurant. And actually, you can get the alcohol if it's served at your quick service restaurants too, which is helpful. 1 refillable mug per person for the length of your stay of your trip. When you think about the worth, quote unquote, of the plan, you definitely think about that mug itself is $22.99 right now, plus 6.5% tax. So right off the top, you can take that off of the total. And then one of the things that we know and that we're looking at is it's for your length of stay up to 14 days. So when we check into Saratoga, it'll be good from the moment we check in and pick up our cup. And then when we come back from the Disney Wish and check into the other hotel, All-Star Music Resort, because we're doing it for the gram, folks, we'll still have our mugs and we'll still be able to use them, because when they program them at your first resort, they do it for the full 14 days.
Yep.
So that makes it even more worth it.
Not for anything too. I mean, it only takes 5, not even like 4.5 sodas to pay for that, because it's $4.79 for a fountain beverage. So that huge savings right there. And it doesn't have to be soda. And that's one thing I always tell people. I'm like, they have the iced tea machines, depending on where you are. Some of them have like the green tea, there's lemonade, there's Powerade, there doesn't have to be a Coke, even though Disney Coke is almost as good as McDonald's fountain Coke. So crispy.
Yeah, and it hits just right too. Like when you come back after a long day, or if you're spending a day at the resort, I feel like one of the benefits for us is we love to do a day where we hop around resorts. and it's not good just at your own resort, it's at any resort hotel. So like I'll just throw it in my bag and go and have drinks all day. So let's talk a little bit about the what we gave for our breakdown for what we're talking about just for this 1 day trip with just adults. And like how we do that Disney math. Because obviously, if you book with us, we'll do the math for you, but you can't just send us your spreadsheet if you booked on your own and get us to do the math. So we did that here. Sammie, you want to do yours first, like the day
one. I
day
love
one?
this. What I love about Disney is I go with big groups all the time. Like we've done how many times have I been to Disney with you now? 3?
At least.
Yeah, if not more. I love the quick service aspect because I'm not stuck eating where everybody wants to eat. So I can go eat whenever I want, wherever I want. And so for me, like this is huge because I'm a huge Satui Canteen fan. I don't know if I say it
Yeah.
right. I probably botch it every single time, but a lot of people love it because it's definitely different style food. So that's where I'm going for my quick service. And I'm getting chimichurri beef with the chili garlic shrimp.
Okay.
So good. It's very hearty, so it'll keep me full, so I don't have to worry about spending extra money. With a drink, it's 25.13, including.
And that's a fountain beverage.
Yep. I
Was
could
there
do
any?
one of the specialty coffees if I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Or you could get
Because
an
they,
alcoholic beverage if you wanted.
if I'm going there though, I'm getting that ube cold brew because you know me and my ube, I'm obsessed to have a problem.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and that probably costs as much as an alcoholic beverage, so it's probably a
Pretty
decent.
much. I said so those with tax are $6.92. For my snack, the cookie dough brownie ice cream sandwich from Terra Treats. It's $8.83 after tax, which is a pricey snack, but high value if you use that as a snack credit because what we like to do in my house is we split snacks among each other because usually they're like big enough. And
Hmm.
so this is a snack that I could easily split with you and Eric if I wanted. Cut it into threes and be done with it. Because like that's a lot of sweets.
Yeah. Especially after eating the big lunch at Satuli
Hmm.
Canteen and then
Yeah.
knowing we have dinner coming up at some point. Terra Treats, I can't picture it. Where is that, Animal Kingdom too?
Yes, so that is right across from the Tree of Life in the corner where the new blueberry cold brew condensed milk god awful coffee is.
I love how she tells people where things are in relation to coffee.
If you ask my husband to say, how do you explain directions to Sammy? You have to state this is I can get food. You cannot state internet interstates or street sign. Like, no. This is where you get that cold brew that you like. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everything goes back to caffeine.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Then for dinner, I'm a Yak and Yeti girl. This is partially your fault because that was the second time I ever went to Yak and Yeti was with you. And now I'm part of the Landry's Club, which is a whole different story. But anyways, I'm getting the chicken tiki masala. That's $27.99. Again, very filling. But something caught my eye when I was looking at this earlier. The kiwi coconut margarita. I'm sorry, you're going to take two of my favorite things and put it into and then include tequila. That is a recipe for success. If this doesn't rock my world in good ways, I'm going to be very upset.
Hmm.
I'm not a big dessert person when it comes to like sit down places, more of like give me an ice cream cone, like let's go. I'm gonna do the chocolate pudding cake only because I want to see if it's something that Ryan will like so I can convince him to go back to Yak and Yeti.
Does he not like Yak and Yeti? Does he need help getting back there?
No, not necessarily, but if I make it seem like it's because he needs to try something, then I'm being super sweet and kind and putting my husband's feelings in the forefront versus the fact that I want ahi tuna nachos again.
All right, so what are you all in for with that day?
Total cost is $91.10 with a $12 out-of-pocket tip at Yak and Yeti. Because what my total bill there would be is around $60.
Okay.
This is not including though the value of that resort mod. So this is not thinking about the fact that I'm going to get a free iced coffee in the morning. In my head, it's free. Free
Yeah.
iced coffee in the morning because I got a hot coffee the night before. This is not including we get back to the resort. I'm going to need a couple sips of a Coke because life is lifing and my feet hurt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the 14 days thereafter.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Like we're basing this on kind of like a one day thing, but nobody really goes to Disney for one day for real. And we'll have it those free iced coffees for 5 mornings after that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
So I mean,
Okay.
it's $7.47 difference essentially. Again, not including that mug. So I make out like a bandit on this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I went a little bit different with mine. Um, and I went and used my snack credit at Starbucks because Starbucks, you can get any size drink as a snack credit. So one of my favorite things to get is the frozen Starbucks refreshers with lemonade. Now I always get that as a Trenta when I have a dining plan because why the heck not? And the only prices they have online for it is grande, but with tax, that's $6.87. Um, but I'm getting it as a Trenta, and that's just a little tip. They won't tell you that unless you try to order it and say, I'm gonna use my dining credit and I would like a Trenta size. They're like, cool, gotcha. So, little tip.
That's sweet.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for this purpose, Yak and Yeti Local Food Cafe. So that's the quick service at Yak and Yeti. I'm gonna go with the honey sesame chicken there, and I will say that again, like you talked about the portions at Satuli Canteen, the portions at Yak and Yeti Local Food Cafe are huge too. Eric and I have actually shared that as our lunch before.
I've never done the quick service aspect of Yak and Yeti.
Yeah, it's really good. Another little tip if you're looking for a snack and you like chicken fried rice, they have a snack sized chicken fried rice. And you know how they like fried rice in those little containers, they pack that in. It is like a whole meal to go for a snack credit. So if you're looking to like maximize in that way, it's a win.
I'm mind boggled.
Yeah. Absolutely
Yum.
cool. But we're gonna get that, and I'm gonna get it with the Opeachy. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but family sangria. That's $14.91, and I'm not a wine or beer person, but I do love sangria. So I don't know. That's really good. So that's gonna get me with tax $30.87. Now, my last one, my table service credit, is at my favorite restaurant in Disney World for all seasons except summer because it's too heavy to eat during the summer, Liberty Tree Tavern.
Oh, yum.
Right? And so that with a cranberry sipper, which again, oh, such a good drink. It's alcoholic, but super good. That meal will be $64.76 with tax. I didn't figure out the tip, but clearly it's going to be between $13 and $14 if we do that. So that day I win. I beat Mickey by $3.92 without considering that mug.
Right. So you really win.
Really win. And it's interesting because like all the things are different, right? Like, so it would be very different when you did the math for your family trip and you're there for
100%.
multiple days, right? But one of the things that I love to do is like, if you're talking about character meals, right? Like most of the character breakfasts are about the same cost. So you could do Crystal Palace, Topolino's, Ohana's, and that's going to be $57.51 without tip per adult, $37.28 for kids. Boma is $41.54 for adults, which Boma breakfast, have you ever?
No, I need to. So I tried to do this with Shalon when I was there in January, and then life was lifing, and it was like freezing cold outside.
Yeah. The Boma breakfast, especially if you're a picky eater and you don't really like the food at dinner, because if you're adventurous, you like the food at dinner, breakfast, and they have pog juice. They call it jungle juice there. But Boma for breakfast is a real awesome take. Especially it's $41.54 for adults, including tax, and $24.50 for kids. So I will say the one thing that I really think that makes a great use of dining credits is Garden Grill at Epcot. Lunch or dinner is running about $66 with tax for adults, 44.73 for kids. And Akershus is also in that same vein. So like
Yeah.
fabulous value. When I see somebody that wants those spots, I go, this is going to be an um, easier transition to the dining plan.
Well, Garden Grill is really good for picky eaters too, because there is a lot of variety for stuff and not for anything. If you like chimichurri sauce, you have to have the steak there. It is so good. And
Yeah,
I'm picky about steak. It is so good.
yeah. That and I love the character interaction. We'll do an episode about that at some point, but like which character meal is better. But the interactions at Garden Grill on point every
Yep.
single time. Pluto is very playful, just like you'd expect a dog to be. Like I love that. Love, 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 love that. But
Chip and Dale are mischievous.
I love those boys. They're my favorites.
So handsome.
So we definitely know that there's a way to make the math work for the Disney dining plan if you're looking at adults. Certainly for kids.
The flip side of this is you end up spending more money while you're there because you were not prepared and did not plan accurately. So instead, like you wasted quick service credits and decided to go do more sit down meals. And so now you're paying out of pocket for these sit down meals, and these quick service things go to waste. I was so excited. January, my wedding people that were down there sent me a screenshot after they checked out, and she goes, "Tell me I nailed the dining plan without telling me everything was zeroed out." I was like, "Oh, I have goosebumps. This is amazing." So like if you do it right, like great. But if you are leaving and you have like six table service left, or six quick service left, or five snacks left, like you left money on the table. So it's like paying attention to the app constantly, like, have you used this? And it's hard because you forget that you have it sometimes because Disney's not an all-inclusive place to remember, like, oh, pay my dining service credit for this. Or the fact that you blew my mind earlier when you told me that I could get a Joffrey specialty coffee with the quick service thing instead of a fountain drink. Like, I learned something new today.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to get coffee at every meal. No one needs that caffeinated Sammie in their life, but you're about to experience it in 2 weeks, Christy. Sorry, Eric.
It's funny though, and like to your point, like you have to pay attention. I know when we put in into our client portals, it'll say like use a dining credit for this meal. So we try to remind people, but you can also keep track of it in the app, and that makes it work out really well. And I always tell my clients in the app, like specifically use a credit for this meal. Don't use one for this meal. Like if you're going and you want to just get appetizers and a drink, do that. But that's not where you're going to use. Well, you couldn't use your credit on that anyway. But be careful about where we're using them and have a plan. So that I think is where you really, really can either win or lose. Back in the day, you used to be able to turn quick service credits into snacks. Like you could walk up and be like, I want 3 snacks for a quick service. They stopped that when they brought it back last year, which I think that's bogus. I think we should be able to do that. Come on. But
Well, I mean, cheeseburger egg rolls is a snack, but filling wise, it's a quick service. It's like those are filling. There's 2 of them.
mm-hmm.
Like just the way that they do everything is just weird. I don't know. I feel like you should be able to customize it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There is zero customization in this plan. So you have to be eating it the way that they set it up to get your worth out of it. I've gone down for trips before where we didn't do a single table service restaurant, and we basically snacked around the world. So kind of like you talk about, like there's 2 cheeseburger rolls. So like you'd buy one and I would have one of those, you'd have one, and then I'd buy the next thing, right? A lot of that, especially with Food and Wine Festival or Flower and Garden, like which is another place you get really great value out of your snack credits if you have them.
Yep.
Some of those suckers are like $10 or more, and that's a snack credit.
So when people decide they don't want to do the dining plan, what I tell them is I say, okay, well, if you're going to budget on the side for it, you're going to use the same numbers we just used for the Disney dining plan. You're going to use that $98 a day per person for adult. And then it changes for a kid or the quick service one. This way, again, those projections might be higher, but it's a rough estimate of what Disney thinks you will do. As long as you're not doing appetizers and all that.
Yeah. But I mean, I think even like if you're doing appetizers, we've had that happen where you spend more because you're at the table and maybe you get 3 or 4 appetizers and everybody's sharing and all of that, where it's like, but some things you just want that are on the appetizer menu. And so if that's the case, you don't want to not have that. I think this is where that individualized look that we do really makes a difference. I have another client that is a single mom, and she's bringing her 3 kids under 9 or under 10.
Totally worth it.
Oh, yeah. We looked at that. Like, I did like half the math and I went, never mind. Like, whether you do just quick service, because she has one that is like 3.5, and she's like, she doesn't sit in restaurants ever. So I was like, that's fair. So one of the 2 plans. And so she's still trying to figure out what that looks like. But I also explained that Disney is a great place to teach your kids about sitting in restaurants if you are up for that challenge, because no one's expecting you to be quiet. And, you know, you can get up and get your wiggles out. You're sitting there at breakfast at Hollywood and Vine. Like, you can get up and wiggle out. Like, that's totally fine.
No, that makes a ton of sense. Again, like if the kids are outweighing the adults at that rate, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. So we're going to end this episode then with the answer being, it depends.
Maybe.
As we talked about, there's just so many different pieces to this puzzle that it really is. It depends. Depends who you're going with. It depends when you're going. It depends what your focus of the trip, like Sammie said. Like, if you're looking to just run around and go on rides, then the quick service plan might be perfect. But if you are looking at character meals, you definitely want to go with that other one, the full dining plan. All right. Well, that is one more question unpacked. If you have a travel stumper you want us to tackle, or if you're ready to let a pro handle the heavy lifting for your next getaway, send us a text to the show, come find us at mickyguru.com, or take a peek at the show notes. We're also getting real active on Instagram and TikTok under Talk Travel to Me Pod, so pop over there and say hi too. And we'll see you next week. We'll be answering the question, when is the best time to go to Walt Disney World?
All the time.
Right? See you real soon, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Talk Travel to Me. We hope this episode cracked open inspiration for the treasures that await you at your next dream destination. If you love the show, please review, subscribe, and share it with a friend. At Mickey Guru Travel Company, we're your trusted guides for theme parks, cruises, resorts, and more. Visit our website at mickyguru.com to learn more and book your vacation today.